Hello and welcome to a presentation with JRF. My name is Robert Benedict, Senior Product Manager at Arthrex on the Orthobiologics team, and I'm here with Ashley Folk. She is a Medical Education Coordinator at JRF Ortho, and she brings a wealth of knowledge to us on the ordering process and graft matching for fresh osteochondral allografts. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, hi Robert. Thanks for having us, and thanks for the opportunity to do this. So today I'm just going to review a bit about the allograft ordering and graft matching process for JRF. So before the process of graft matching can even begin, it's important just to note that insurance authorization must be obtained from the patient's insurance provider prior to submitting an order to us or the tissue provider. An order form must also be submitted to the tissue provider, and ordering is available both online or in a hard copy format, so either by way of regular mail or emailing that in. So along with the order form, the tissue provider will also need copies of the patient's imaging. So typically MRI or CT are best there, but if an X-ray with magnification marker is available, that works too. So just a little bit about sizing of allografts. So for JRF Ortho specifically, all orders go through our team of allograft service coordinators, and these are folks who each cover a specific territory within the United States. We do have a few international areas as well. The ASC will receive your order, they're going to size the patient's films, and then activate the order. So the method of sizing depends on, excuse me, I just forwarded my slide there. The method of sizing just depends on the graft type requested. So in a condyle, for instance, we're looking at the tibia width, the condyle width, and the condyle length measurements, and we're really aiming to match those measurements within 2 millimeters plus or minus between the donor and the recipient. So those measurements, along with the patient demographics, the graft type requested, those pieces of information, those are entered into our system where it awaits a match. So one thing we're doing is we're working closely with our tissue processors, a few key team members inside JRF as well. They are working to match our incoming supply of donors and match those with existing orders that we have in our system. One thing to note here is that we're also looking outside the box at potentially what other types of grafts may work for each patient, depending on availability, especially if timing is an issue. So if we have a pre-planned a date of surgery, we're always going to be working hard to meet that date of surgery. So as far as the timeline goes, all fresh tissue expires 28 days after the date of death of the donor. The first 14 days are spent undergoing extensive testing, serologies, cultures to ensure proper eligibility for safe transplant. And so once those have come back cleared, the tissue is what is referred to as released, and that just means it's available for us to distribute. So in a perfect world, we would have between approximately day 14 and day 28 to implant, but that's also dependent on cultures coming back on time and there being zero delays with medical or social history screening as well. So regarding wait times for different types of allografts, the wait times do tend to vary. This can depend on the graft type being ordered. They tend to be shorter for commonly procured allografts. So like you'll see in this picture, hemicondyles, taluses, or distal tibias. Those are grafts that we're producing on a regular basis. And so wait times for those graft types tend to be on the shorter side. Due to the varying demand, I would say the typical wait time for distal tibias and taluses is about maybe a week or so, give or take. Lateral condyles, approximately 2 weeks. Medial condyles, those are in higher demand, so those tend to take a little bit longer, maybe somewhere 4 to 6 weeks to match. Again, give or take, it just sort of depends on the current donor situation that we have within our hands. So, and then there are the group of less common allografts. So those are referred to as specialty grafts. those tend to have longer wait times. Examples of specialty grafts would be things like a humeral head, a femoral head, a trochlea, a patella. So specialty grafts, those can take anywhere from 8 to 6 weeks to match. Again, sort of a fluid number. It just depends on our donor supply and what we've got going on. So once a match is found, a formal offer and photo dissection sheet would be sent over to the surgeon's office detailing the matched graft. So it takes a look at things like the patient and the donor sizing, the graft type requested versus the graft type offered, the release date, the expiration date, and so forth. It's definitely a time-sensitive process. The surgeon typically has around 24 hours to review the graft offer, and if it's approved, return the signed offer to the tissue provider. If logistics don't work out, say timing or OR scheduling is an issue, the surgeon can choose at that time to decline the offer and wait for the next one. The order will remain active in our system pretty much forever until someone tells us otherwise. So if the surgeon's office or the Arthrex rep or a staff member tells us that this order should go on hold or is no longer active, that is the point at which we would remove it. So once the graft is offered and accepted, a surgery date should be scheduled before the expiration date of the tissue. So fresh tissue expires at midnight on the date of expiration. And this is also the time when the tissue provider would need a purchase order number from the facility for the process to move forward. Once all final eligibility and testing of the graft have been completed and cleared, and also a PO number has been received from the facility, the allograft at that point can be shipped. So we typically ship all fresh grafts in about 1 to 2 days prior to the surgery date. And inside the shipping container, there's instructions for use, there's the storage parameters, and of course, if there are any questions around any of those logistics, be happy to chat with you about that. So there's a high-level overview of allograft ordering and the graft matching process. I put our contact information on the bottom there, so feel free to reach out with any questions. Thank you.
Ashley, that was a great presentation. Thank you so much. So
yeah, thank you.
I know that you have a high role in all of this process and managing this ordering and graft matching sequence that has to be followed. And early in your presentation, you mentioned the online ordering process as maybe being advantageous. Can you help me to understand why, from a rep or even an account perspective, why an online ordering process would be of interest?
Sure. So, yeah, as I mentioned, we have this newer online ordering system. Reps, clinical staff can go in and create their own unique user profile. So in there, you can submit orders, upload films electronically. You can monitor orders on an ongoing basis. You can place orders on hold, things like that. There's also tons of resources within the online ordering tool. There's papers, handouts, guides. There's reimbursement information in there as well. And so the benefit of all this is just, really streamlining that order process, faster submission of the order, and a cost savings there too from not having to ship films or order forms. So really just better visibility and customization and order management. And the faster that JRF can receive the order, the quicker we can get working on finding a graft match for that patient.
Those are great points. So really it comes down to customer service and also some, transparency on the process and making sure that everyone's aware and involved, because it is a high touch point graft and ordering process, it seems.
Yes, yes, exactly.
You also mentioned a little bit about the kind of typical turnaround times for some of the standard grafts versus maybe a little bit longer expectations for specialty grafts. Can you provide a little bit more information there in terms of what should the expectation really be, versus, the plan in the past versus maybe today, how that might have changed over time?
Yeah, sure. So it used to be that it could take a little bit longer between order submission and time to first allograft offer, but with the help of this online ordering system and also a few tweaks to some of our own systems and just sort of working to streamline a lot of these different processes, we've been able to shorten some of those timeframes. So now, at least for standard grafts, I would say the time to first offer is typically around 2 to 3 weeks, about 1 month to surgery date. Again, that is sort of a fluid number and can kind of fluctuate depending on the supply and the demand, but that's typically where we like to see things around. And additionally, accounts, they can really help us expedite this process. So by making sure that insurance authorization is in place, surgeons maybe being open to accepting a contralateral allograft, of course, where it makes sense, and then patient and surgeon both being available and flexible to schedule surgery due to the tight timeline of this process as a whole. So our goal obviously is to get surgeons offers for their patients as quick as possible. So it's really a collaborative effort on all sides to make this happen.
Ashley, these are great points for us to consider, especially as we're engaging with our customers and trying to help in this process. So thanks so much for shedding some light on this and sharing a lot of your experience with ordering and graft matching. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.